YouTube, this is Cynical Spaniel here with my first video. Just wanted to upload my deck profile of I'm not sure how you'd call it, Pendulum Synchron Synchro Spam. This deck pretty much isn't mine. It was mainly made by 37 Wolf or Leo. His channel has a bunch of amazing videos just on testing out a bunch of different like synchro decks. This is pretty much his deck. Not exactly card by card. There's about like 4 or 5 different changes. Honestly, it's probably worse, but I really like this deck. It's really fun. I really like playing it. If you like really like high sequence comboing decks, it's not really linear per se. It's a little bit more kind of on the fly, and you have to like think as you're comboing off which different paths you can take and what options you have. So that's why I really like this deck. I've only played it in person once at a locals. I didn't do too great, but I've also played at the Remote Duel Extravaganza back in April, where I went 0-7, but throughout the entire day, I still had a lot of fun playing this deck. It took a lot of people by surprise because they don't really know what like this deck can do, and they get surprised just seeing the comboing going off. And granted, this deck primarily utilizes Junk Speeder, which is definitely like a huge like ash me target, and there's going to be a lot of turns where you get ashed or impermed or veilered on the Junk Synchron trying to summon Junk Speeder, or just get Nibiru'd after Junk Speeder. But sometimes you can still make a play after that, but a lot of the times you will get ashed, and that's just a matter of the fact with the deck. But I thought I'd go ahead and just show what I'm playing, mainly to see if I can kind of inspire and give some other people some other ideas that they might want to see, maybe some options like for the side deck, and then to see what we can do from there. See if anyone has any recommendations or what they would change for their deck personally, and let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and play 3 of the main staple: Junk Synchron, revive a level 2 person in the graveyard. Easier said than done. Next is 3 Perform Pal Odd-Eye Synchron. He's mainly used just to be as a Junk Speeder target. Summon him out. Very rarely would just like the scale effect come into play, where you can just put him in the scale and turn another Perform Pal into a level 1. That very rarely comes up. One of the best interactions, I think, is if he's on the field and he's like not negated, you can use his effect to target a pendulum in your scale to special summon it and synchro summon using that and this card. And the most common one, if you summon out Darkworm, that'll get you a Stardust Charge Warrior, so just an extra draw, and it'll get you the level 6 if you want to try and go into the Chaos Ruler Dragon. And then other times, if you have the Symphonic Warrior guitar, you can summon him and make Junk Speeder from there, which is like really awesome. Honestly, I would maybe consider playing just like 1 or 2. He's not the greatest, but he's still like a Synchron name, so it's it's not something you can cut out. Up next is 3 Cyber Synchron. I think he's pretty decent. Another card you could probably play at like 1 or 2, but I like playing 3. You can either double the level of a monster on the field, which comes in handy trying to make speeder a lot of the time. So if you have like a Doppel or like a Junk Converter, you can double their levels and make a speeder that way. And then my favorite effect about him that most people don't really know about because they don't really read them is if he's in your graveyard and you have a Synchro monster in your extra monster zone, you can banish Cyber Synchron from the graveyard to avoid destruction if it were to be destroyed in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of people get cut off by that, so that's one way to protect one of your Synchro monsters. One of is Flourish Synchron. It's a target you can summon off of Junk Speeder that helps you combo off. So depending on what you have in your hand, or if you get lucky, rather than summon Pendulum, Perform Pal Odd Eyes, you can summon Flourish Synchron, but it honestly just depends. It's also a light target for Chaos Ruler to be able to banish it to summon him. Up next is 3 1-ofs that I would say is like what I mainly play for myself. I just like them. They're extenders. Cash Eve level 2 lets you target a monster on the field to reduce its level by 2, and you can special summon Cash Eve. So that kind of helps reduce like the level of a monster on the field. To synchro with it, it's a free body on the board. It's also a light. Caligo Clawcrow level 2 extender. Plague Spreader Zombie, another tuner extender, and it's also something that can trigger Doppel Warrior. So that's something else. Up next is most of the Pendulum cards. So you got 3 Supreme King Darkworm and the Supreme King Gate 0. And these are mainly just options to be able to Pendulum summon. You can use it to try and like bait an Ash, like put them in your scale and attempt to pull out the Supreme King. So Ash target. 3 Odd Eyes Revolution Dragons to go and try and search out Supreme King Darkworm. Another target to try and be able to Ash. Also good to try and be able to search Darkworm to get a Dark in your hand for Allure of Darkness. It's also a light target for Chaos Ruler. And its Pendulum effect is pretty niche, but like it sometimes comes up as the Pendulum effect is you can blow it up in your scale to special summon I believe it's a level 8 or lower. Just a dragon synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So it's something that can help you recur some of your monsters that are in the graveyard past like turn 1. Up next is 3 Symphonic Warrior Guitar and the Warrior Mics. These are pretty good. Just be able to pitch a card and special summon Mics to get an additional normal summon, which is really awesome. Next we got 3 Doppel Warrior, any real mainstay in a synchro deck. Honestly, you could probably cut him down to like 1 or 2. He doesn't do much in your hand, and you don't have a lot of times when you start going first is like being able to set up the revive for Doppel Warrior. And even if you can, sometimes it doesn't pan out into a speeder, so sometimes it doesn't come up. Junk Converter, probably one of the best cards in your in your deck, just because of the fact that you can pitch him and a tuner to search any Synchron tuner. So it just automatically sets up your Junk Synchron plays. 3 Allure of Darkness, because most of the monsters in this deck are dark, so it's just additional draw power. After that, we have 3 Pot of Avarice. Just being able to recur your resources, put things back in the graveyard. Mainly like just putting back like synchro monsters you've used, or for Excel Synchron, putting targets back into the deck. So like Junk Synchron or just other cards. So like if you have like a Warrior Mics in your grave, you can shuffle that back in so that Guitar is live. So be able to recur resources, draw 2. Enough said. 3 Tuning. Your spell to be able to search out any Synchron tuner and mill a card from the top of your deck. So hopefully you can get lucky and mill Doppel Warrior or Junk Converter or any of the other level 2s. 1 Call by the Grave. It's a combo deck. Enough said. The next is the rest of the one-offs. 1 for 1. Special Summon Cyber Synchron. Monster Reborn. Rhoda. And Foolish Burial. That's it for the main deck. Main deck count is 44. Not the most optimal number. It's like not trying to be too competitive. Like you want to try and win, but like I like playing like that. Just have fun, combo off, combo go burr. Up next is the extra deck. So we play 1 Celestial Double Star Shaman, 1 Martial Metal Marcher, 1 Crystron Quandrax, 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 TCG Hyper Librarian, 1 Junk Speeder, 1 Excel Synchron, 1 Stardust Charge Warrior, 1 FA Dawn Dragster, and one of the main just combo enablers is Chaos Ruler, just being able to mill 5 and add one of the targets from back to your hand. Honestly, the mill is like really powerful, and being able to recur him for the following turn for Satellite Warrior is like pretty powerful, because like him and Plague Spreader, Satellite Warrior, or however you can get him back onto the field. 1 Cyframe Lord Omega, being able to banish and clear off a monster zone. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and one of the main plays you can try and do, depending on the setup that you get, if you're able to summon Crystal Wing and still keep like all the some tuners and a non-tuner on the field, you can try and bait out Nibiru, because some people might Nibiru after you try and combo off after the Junk Speeder play. So after Junk Speeder summon, if they don't Nibiru there, you can make Crystal Wing and be able to protect yourself from Nibiru. Very rarely you're able to pull that off, but if you can, that's awesome. 1 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and the most common play is to make Chaos Ruler and bring back Cyber Synchron and be able to make Hot Red. Really good card. Ravenous Croco Dragon. I don't even know how to say that last part. Just really good. Depending on how many non-tuners you can summon off of him, you can get a couple draws. And if you still have a bunch of your cards left in your hand, during your opponent's turn, it's a quick pop. So that comes in handy. And then really good follow-up play, either making like on your second turn or on your opponent's turn with Excel Synchron, Satellite Warrior, just being able to pop a bunch of cards on the field, make them really big, really good. Up next is the side deck. We play 3 Radiant, the multi-dimensional Kaiju, Allure of Darkness target, and being able to have spot removal against any troublesome targets, Winda, Dragoon. Up next is 3 Artifact Lancia, mainly just for against like Dino and any other deck that like wants to banish a lot. Next is 3 Dimensional Barrier. Honestly, I haven't bought the cards yet, but I would replace Dimensional Barrier with Gravity Collapse. Gravity Collapse is a counter trap card that lets you, I believe it's tribute, or I think it's send 1 Synchro monster from the field to graveyard after your opponent special summons, and they can't summon for the rest of the turn. So it's just a really good blowout card, being able to just completely turn off summons. That's pretty much going to be a pass. Going second, Dark Ruler no more. And then 3 ofs, Harpy's Feather Duster for back row, IO, really sacky card. And then 1 Ice Dragon's Prison, because I only have 1, so I needed a last spot. Why not? And that'll be it for my deck profile. If you want, in the description, I'll throw in links for just links to the profile, links to the deck, and mainly probably Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega. And I'll also include a link to Leo's channel and to the original video that inspired me to make this deck. Like I said, it's mainly his deck. He was the one that made it. I just changed out a few cards to the way that I wanted to play, and I also wanted to have like an in-person deck profile, just to kind of show off the cards. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'm gonna try and see if I can make a combo video, just to be able to like try and like introduce anyone who like might be interested in playing the deck and is like, oh, I don't know how to play, or like what the cards do. They won't really be set linear combos, because this deck is like not very linear. A lot of times it's a lot of kind of just thinking on the go and kind of just making plays as you go. But if you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe if you want, and thank you.